Hello, myself Akshata, roll number 25 from TY Electrical. Name of my subject is Industrial AC Machine. Today's presentation topic is three-phase alternators. Now what are the alternators? An alternators is an electrical generator that converts mechanical energy to electrical energy in the form of alternating current. Occasionally, a linear operation or a rotating armature with a stationary magnetic field is used. In principle, any AC electrical generator can be called an alternator. Now, principle of an alternator. An alternator operates on the same fundamental principle of electromagnetic induction as a DC generator. The working of an alternator is based on the principle that when the flux linking a conductor changes, an EMF is induced in the conductor. Alternator is rotated with the help of prime mover. In the generator field, poles are stationary and alternator conductor rotates. The voltage generated in armature conductor is of alternating nature. Now, basically the construction of alternator is based on two parameters, that is stator and rotor. In rotor there are two types of rotors, that is first silent pole alternator, that is projected pole, and non-silent pole alternator, that is non-projected pole type alternator. Now first, stator. As the name suggested, it is the stationary part of the machine and it is made up of special magnetic material which can allow high magnetic permeability and low magnetic hysteresis such as fabricated steel. Now this is the image for stator. The stator core is laminated to minimize the effect of eddy current losses. The lamination is insulated from each other by a thin coating of an oxide and has space between them to allow passage of cool air flow. For the small machine, the laminations are stamped out in the complete ring structure, and for the large machine, the laminations are divided into number of segments. Generally, open slots are used, permitting easy installation or removal of stator coil. The fractional number of slots per pole is used in order to eliminate the harmonic in the waveform. The armature winding of an alternator is usually connected in star and its neutral is connected to the ground. Now second part is rotor. The revolving field structure of the electrical machine is called as rotor. In a synchronous generator, the rotor carries a field winding which is supplied by the DC source. The DC source is also called an exciter, which is generally a small DC shunt or compounded generator mounted on the shaft of the alternator. Now next, silent pole alternator, that is projected pole. The silent pole type rotor is used for low and medium speed machines less than 1200 rpm and have the large diameter and small axial length. This is the image for silent pole alternator. The poles are made up of thick steel lamination to reduce eddy current heating loss, and it is attached to the rotor by means of the dovetail joint. In silent pole rotor, the poles are always projected in the outward direction as shown in the figure. Silent pole rotor found application for diesel engine and water turbine because they both required medium speed, that is 120 to 1000 rpm. The pole and pole shoe cover 2 or 3 of the pole pitch. The rating of silent pole rotor is less than 500 kV. Now second type is non-silent pole alternator, that is non-projected pole type alternator. This type of rotor is used for steam driven alternator, that is turbo alternator, which turns at very high speed. This is the image for the non-silent pole alternator. The rotor is made up of smooth solid forgings of alloy steel cylinder having the number of slots along the outer periphery. The field winding of cylindrical type rotor are connected in series to the slip rings through which they are excited by the DC exciter. The top portion of the slot is covered with the help of steel or manganese wedges, and the unslotted portion of the cylinder acts as the poles of an alternator. In cylindrical cylindrical rotor, the pole doesn't project out from the smooth surface or the rotor. Hence, they maintain the uniform air gap between stator and rotor. Now the types of alternator. The alternator can be divided into different types based on their application, prime mover, design, output power and cooling. First, alternator based on their output power. Single phase alternator, two phase alternator and three phase alternator. Second, alternator based on their application. Automotive type alternator, diesel electric locomotive alternator, brushless type alternator, marine type alternator and radio alternator. Now third one is alternator based on type of their design, silent pole rotor and smooth cylindrical rotor. Fourth one is alternator based on their prime mover, that is turbo generator, hydro generator and diesel engine driven alternator. Now types of armature windings in alternator. There are different types of armature winding used in alternator. The windings can be classified as single phase and polyphase armature winding, concentrated winding and distributed winding, half coil and whole coil winding, single layer and double layer winding, lap, wave and concentric or spiral winding, and full pitch coil winding and fractional pitch coil winding. Now applications of the induction generator are mentioned below. First, the induction generator is used to supply additional power to a load in a remote area that is being supplied by a weak transmission line. And last one is it is used with the alternative energy source such as windmills or with energy recovery systems in the industrial process. Thank you.